Thank you for holding, everybody. We're now joined Bryan Harsin, the head coach of Arkansas State University. If you have a question for Coach, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Coach, while we're waiting for questions to get in the queue, would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Had a good road win against a good football team. Excited about the way the guys played through the entire game, and just good to come back home and got the next 2 games at home, so we're excited about that. Texas State's a good team. We're looking forward to playing those guys here this Saturday to answer questions. Thank you, Coach.
As a reminder, members of the media is *1 to ask questions. Our first questions come from Tom Dorr with the Sunbelt Network. Please go ahead, Tom.
Good morning, Bryan. Obviously, this is quite a team to add to the conference. Texas State, it obviously opens up your, kind of the area that you were in Austin for recruiting, but this is a quality ball club to come in. Tell me a little bit about what you see from them right now and what concerns you.
Well, what you said, just overall, they've got a great recruiting base in Texas. Know that area and those kids, and we're heavily involved in Texas as well. So this is I think it's a good addition to the conference for everybody. But they got a freshman quarterback who I think is good. He's a young guy, but he does a lot of good things with his feet, and he's been over 60% completion. Throwing the ball, hasn't done it a whole lot. Running backs are solid. O-line as a group, I think, is very good. They have very few mistakes, so they're solid when it comes to that. And then defensively, they're 12th nationally against the run. They're first in our conference in turnovers. And special teams-wise, they've been very successful there as well. They lead the conference in kickoff return yardage, I believe. And so statistically, you look at them statistically, they're tops in a lot of categories in our conference. And also knowing that they got a dang good coach that's been doing this a long time and knows how to get his team prepared. And so there's a lot of factors that are in their favor. And I'm glad we're at home. I'm glad we've got the 2 games that we've had to kind of get our confidence up and running, and we've got to continue that, going into this game.
And, Coach, what do you feel like is working best for you guys right now? I mean, if you could look at the team and say, boy, right now defensively we're really playing well, and that's my guess looking at what happened last weekend.
Well, I think one of the big reasons, Q Lee had been injured, and really is probably back to about 90%, 95%. That's a big thing for us. When he's playing fast, he's all over the field at linebacker. And then I think with the addition of him being healthy and some of our D linemen, Chris Stone, Ryan Carruthers, those guys continue to step up each week. They've been our players of the game each week for the last couple games. And then the secondary, I think because the way the front seven's playing, the secondary's got more confidence. They're covering their guys. They know that those guys up front are going to take care of the run game or anything that might break loose. And it just gives them a little bit more confidence in just playing coverage, staying with their guy, which is what we did a good job of, in our last game. I mean, he only threw the ball, when we played Monroe, he threw the ball down the field about, I think, 6 times, had 6 completions actually down the field. The rest of them were all bubbles and behind the line of scrimmage, and that was because, our guys were playing coverage, and I thought our D-line and our linebackers were getting after him. He got hit about 17 times in that game by the D-line and the linebackers, and that helps your secondary out.
Yeah, it's a big difference. All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Our next questions come from Tyler Mayforth, the San Marcos Daily Record. Please go ahead, Tyler.
Hey, Bryan, just a couple quick questions for you. It seems like you entered this program and you knew how successful they were. I mean, and you guys just got your 10th road win in a row in the conference, and you guys are equally as strong as home. What kind of attitude do you see this team having, your seniors and your juniors, that's kind of bred this through 3 different coaches in 3 different years?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It still is. I mean, I think we're a work in progress always. You go through 4 head coaches and staff changes and late recruiting changes. There's things that you just, some of the continuity, some of the chemistry, that's what it affects, and you got to bring all that together, and you're starting to see it happen probably in the last couple of games, where the seniors have felt confident, stepping up, juniors, leaders in general, starting to understand what the plan, the process, what it takes, guys, starting to take over the team in a good way as far as being player-driven, and that's probably been the biggest thing. We're playing better as a football team as a whole. Guys are doing the little things. They're buying into the details and the process and all those words that we use. They're starting to see that it does work, and it is beneficial for us to do those things. And they're starting to buy into all those things, and that's probably been the most rewarding up to this point, I think, just for the staff and even the team itself. Is just you got buy-in, you got guys believing, and not that there was anything real negative. It just we weren't quite there yet. I don't think we are there yet. I just think that we're doing a better job of those things.
Now, also, your guys aren't not used. It's not like they aren't used to winning and back-to-back champs, so they're used to these big games, and this is a big one for second place in the conference. Do you notice the difference how your team plays in these big games, like last week against ULM? You guys needing a win to maintain second place. Do you guys notice a difference in how your team reacts going into a week of preparation?
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, we didn't talk about that necessarily in those terms. We just talked about getting better, and for us in general as a team. And I think the biggest thing for us is continue to the same mindset that regardless, we know we're playing a good football team. I mean, Texas State, they're as good as anybody we've played this entire year. So these guys are not going to overlook or think that this is not a big game. I'm not worried about that. I just want them to continue to keep playing with the confidence that they've had these last couple games, to prepare so they have that confidence, and just really worry about the little things that we talk about on a daily basis. And we do that, we'll be able to compete in every game we play. And if we don't, then we'll go out there and we'll get beat, because we know that the teams we're playing are going to have that mindset, and we've got to have it too, just to be competitive. And we've done that the last couple games. I anticipate our team to continue that, and I think they understand it. So this should be a good week of prep, and it should be good for us to be at home, and we're going to play a good team, and we expect to play well ourselves.
And you mentioned Texas State's quarterback, Tyler Jones, the freshman. What have you noticed in cut-ups about his arm specifically? I know against Georgia State, you guys didn't see much of it since the Bobcats probably ran the ball 95% of the time, but then against Idaho, they were able to have him air it out a little bit. Have you noticed any differences in how he's kind of grown in his throws throughout those, I guess, his first game against Lafayette and Wyoming?
Yeah, I haven't watched every throw. I've just seen him throw it, and he throws it. I mean, he's mechanically and fundamentally and all that. I mean, he can throw the ball. For what they ask him to do, he's almost 65% completion, and as a quarterback, that's pretty good. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. He's not great statistically with TDs, 5 TDs and 4 picks. But he's not asked to do a whole lot of throwing the ball. I don't think 4 picks through 7-8 games is bad by any means. That's pretty good. The touchdowns, though, they're running it. So that's what they're asking him to do, and he's able to run it. He does a good job of reading the type of offense that they're asking him to read. And, for being a young guy, I've been impressed for being a young guy. Now, he's a freshman that's coming there to play. He's done a nice job, and, our defense has done a real good job against quarterbacks, this season. And so, we're playing another one. There's not any team that we play if there's not good quarterbacks, and this guy continues to be another one to show up. And our defense knows that, and they've rallied and played really well against good quarterbacks, and so we anticipate that again this week.
And finally, are we going to see David Oku this weekend, or is he still? David Oku and Andrew Tron, those guys are back. Okay.
They missed last game, but they will be back this game, barring anything that would cause them from being in it again. But we fully anticipate both those guys being back and playing.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Tyler, and thank you, Coach. That's all the time we have for you today. We do appreciate it.